Hi, Bloody Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain comedy film, Big. Keep your eyes open and stay focused.
Make my wish. I wish I were big.
12-year-old Josh lives an ordinary, measured life. His mother asks him to take out the trash, but he asks for a few seconds to finish playing a computer game. Josh spends the day with his friend Billy, discussing girls in passing. In the evening, Josh goes with his parents to the amusement park and notices in line for the dangerous ride a girl he likes. But when he approaches her, her boyfriend shows up and asks Josh to go ahead. He turns out not to be tall enough and they don't let him in. Josh notices a strange Zoltar machine that no one is playing. He tosses in a coin and nothing happens, but after a few strokes the machine starts up and asks Josh to make a wish. He wants to get big, so he presses a button and a card falls out of the machine promising that his wish will come true. He is confused that the machine is unplugged and runs away. Before going to bed, he talks to Billy on the radio, but when his mother comes in, he pretends to be asleep. In the morning, Josh discovers that he has become the adult he envisioned, but he can't believe it. Josh finds his father's old clothes and sneaks past his mother and makes his way outside. All that's left at the site of the attractions is a field of garbage. Then Josh returns home.
I have a birthmark behind my left knee!
But his mother mistakes him for a burglar and he escapes. His only way out is for Billy to help him, but Billy doesn't recognize him and tries to escape. Josh does their signature dance and hums a song, and Billy realizes it's Josh after all. So while the police sort out what happened, Billy brings clothes to Josh and they head into town. At the St. John's Motel, they have to pay $27 for a night in a motel, where conditions certainly wouldn't please anyone. Billy says he has to be home by 10 and will skip school tomorrow to help him find the Zoltar machine. But when Billy leaves, Josh feels terrible about the present situation. In the morning, he and Billy wander around the arcade, but all in vain. Then they decide to come to a service that will help them find it, but they have to wait up to 6 weeks. Billy suggests he get a job to kill some time. They go to an interview where Billy is mistaken for his son, and in the Human Resources office, Joe gets a chance to replace one of the female employees who works at the computer at a children's toy company. In the hallway, Josh runs into his bosses and gets a spies at a girl named Susan. He calls his mother and tells her that he has kidnapped her son, and then promises that he will bring him back safely, and to prove it, he hums the song his mother used to sing to Josh before he went to bed. Today they got a paycheck. Josh got as much as $187. That's when he heads to the bank to cash out $1 each. Josh goes to the game store and play laser tag with Boy, but when he gets shot and falls down, the director of the company shows up, who walks around the store with Joe, listening to his advice about the shortcomings of the toys. And then he finds a piano built into the floor and starts have fun around. The director joins him and they have a great duet. Pole and Susan is pissed off that Joe has been made vice president and given a bigger office than Pole. His job is to check out the toys and then say what he thinks of it. They can't figure out where Josh came from, because the other companies don't even know he exists, although the milk carton has his first and last name as a missing child on it. At the board of directors, after a painstaking analysis of important people in suits, Josh declares that the skyscraper robot will not interest anyone. Much more interesting to make a robot that turns into an ancient insect, which the director likes, and again Susan cannot believe that he succeeds. A little later, Josh and Billy are shown their new apartment. There they start having fun and filling the apartment with toys, and Joe writes a letter to his parents that he's okay. He should be released in about a month. Josh arrives at the evening banquet wearing a fancy tuxedo that he rented, but the employees only laugh at him, and the director obviously likes the suit. At the table, Susan approaches him and suggests he get out of here. On the limo ride, Susan tries to open up to him and pour out her heart to learn his secrets, but Josh is clearly not interested in any of this. He offers to stop by his house, where she discovers he has a whole children's world, and he asks her to jump on the trampolines with him.
I'll do it with you, all right? To show you how to do it. Ready? Come on. Jump.
Before going to bed, Josh comes out in his pajamas and Susan wants to seduce him, but he jumps on the top tier and says goodnight. In the morning, Pole interrogates Susan about how their night went, but she replies that nothing happened. Back at Josh's house, she tells him that she is sick of these people who think they are adults and serious, and then kisses him. The next morning, Susan returns her boyfriend's things and takes his keys. In the evening, Joe celebrates his birthday with Billy and makes a wish. Billy offers to hang out all night, but Josh says he has to meet someone and leaves. Josh wanted to come over to Susan's, and they head to the amusement park. After the roller coaster, Susan hears music and asks Josh to dance. He agrees, but doesn't notice Zoltar standing behind him. During the dance, Susan tells him how good she feels about him and they decide to kiss after all. They have a bit of an intimate moment at home. And in the morning he's already pacing the happiest man in the world. Billy gets a letter from the service, which means they found the Zoltar machine. After the meeting, Josh is starting to act like an adult talking about analytics and management, but Susan tries to convince him to be like before. Billy meanwhile tries to reach Josh while he is having fun with Susan. Billy comes to his office and gives him the list, but work has so brainwashed Josh that he considers his deadlines on reports more important than going back to his childhood and his mother. Because of this, Billy is offended and leaves. In the evening, Josh works and Susan sleeps, so he wants to play his favorite game again. And the next day he walks through his old neighborhood, where he used to walk and have fun with Billy. Back at Susan's house, he tells her that he is actually a child, but she is not going to believe it and asks him to prepare for tomorrow's presentation and she should get some sleep. In the morning, Billy returns to Josh and gives him the address Zoltar, then wishes him good luck. Josh shows the electronic comics he came up with, but then asks him to step back. Susan takes the story into her own hands, and when Paul asks if the kid will take the comics for $19, Susan decides to go after him, but like Billy doesn't make it, he leaves in a cab alone. Susan asks Billy to tell him where he went, and in the meantime he finds a machine and makes a wish. Susan comes running in, but he's already been dealt a card. He tells her that his only reason for not going back is his love for her. But the wish will already be granted, so she brings him home and tells him that she will miss him and she kisses him on the forehead. Josh leaves the car and heads for the house, but when she gets distracted she sees that Josh's suit is already big for him. The 13-year-old boy is back and runs into his mom's house. The next morning, he and Billy head off to school. Support the channel by subscribing, like and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.